I am someone who doesn't like being told what to do. Shocking. Yeah. I tend to be very resistant to being put in a container. And especially the way it feels right now, the way it feels like we are being sorted. Right away, I felt extreme resistance course through me. I am no sheep. However, one of the greatest gifts that I have learned doing this process of eliminating the major lies that I tell, or at least being able to recognize them, sometimes even while I'm telling them, is the idea that, first of all, creating a really intimate relationship with God, with my creator. And this creator has no gender. This creator is simply, it's really the godlike energy in all of us where we are all connected from that place. It's what elevates us to our sovereignty. And I work on allowing that to rise to the surface every day. And what brought me to this place of intimacy with my creator was submission. And when I first heard that word, I cannot even explain the bristling that went on. Because I played such a passive role in my marriage, when I started to get my power back, man, did that feel good. So I ran wild with the warrior, swinging the fucking sword, nicking myself in the shins. I didn't care. It felt amazing to push back and say, no, not doing that. Fuck you. Even when you hear a voice that's maybe guiding you in a good direction, I was like, no, 2 years old, I know better. I know better. With my ego-driven thoughts, I know better. So after running into brick walls enough times and being like, wow, that really fucking hurts, or being cast into the pit about another bad decision or the ramifications of a decision, and in deep meditations and asking for help, that, I guess that's the first thing, that I allowed myself to ask for help from God, from something bigger than me. Because I realized if I am the only one to steer my ship, it's going to be very guided. You can't help but guide by ego or desire. Because what you need is not always what you want. So the next thing after the initial asking for help was, now you've got to be open to accepting the help. And that's where submission comes in. And like I said, my natural tendency after gaining my power was to press so hard against that. Because it was another form of telling me what to do. But when I allowed myself to stop pushing against it so hard and just get very quiet and listen, that's when I was able to see that it's not a voice telling me what to do. It's like, listen, there are a couple of roads. You can take the hardest possible road that you seem to like taking. Sometimes I like to run into the wall just for the sake of running into the wall, it seems. If I haven't bled out, I haven't earned it. Sometimes that's my thinking. I don't mind working hard for something, but sometimes I take a little too far. So allowing myself to really submit to the guidance and then act it out in the world. And that's scary because the guidance you've received is not a conscious decision. It's a conscious decision to bring it out into the world, but its delivery system is not born from you. So if you're not practiced at that, that can feel really scary. So, enacting my charge from God in the world still fills me with trepidation. I do it anyway. And the more that I do it and the more that I see that comes from it, obviously, right? So you get the results. Why wouldn't you do it again? Because it's eliciting such positive results. But the initial submission, I still struggle sometimes with it. So, what I ask you to do today is to take a moment. First, examine your relationship with your Creator. No judgment. Just look at where it is. And if you have a dialogue going with your Creator, and you are being given directives or missives or even hints by your Creator's voice, how different are they from your own thoughts? If you're in alignment, oh my, wow, that's amazing. I find that my thoughts and my guidance sometimes are the opposite. Sometimes they're synonymous and they're like methodology, like it's a different method. Maybe the one that suggested me is not quite as backbreaking as the one that I might have taken on. But in all these cases, the ego has to step back. It has to understand that it is not the one running the show, which is good for you anyway, because it gets put in its place. You will never hear me say kill the ego. Never. We need it. You'd never get out of bed. But it cannot be completely in charge. It needs to be balanced with a voice that's wiser than yours. So I hope you take a moment today to commune, to be still and listen. And if you don't hear the voice and tone right away, it's just practice. Just keep practicing. Because it's there. It's there. We just forgot how to listen. I need to remember how to listen. It's always remembering. You are everything you need. You just need to remember that. Take that with you today. And I will see you tomorrow.